Hello everyone, my name is Mark Geary, I'm the Distracted Baker. How are you? Are you sure? I'm fine. Yeah, thanks for asking, that's really kind of you. Anyway, today I'm going to be making a classic Middle Eastern, North African recipe. It's a Basbousa. They make it really differently all over the Middle East and all over North Africa, but I'm working on an Algerian variant of the recipe from a pal of mine. I'm also going to make a simple syrup with orange blossom that goes with it, and it sounds really complicated, right? But it's dead easy. I don't know what to talk about anymore. All right, finished, we cut that. This is your ingredient and equipment list. Pause here while you gather these items and at any point in the video, should you need more time. This is Basbousa, B-A-S-B-O-U-S-S-A, Basbousa. It's delicious. If I opened a bakery, it would be called Basbousa. I just think it's a wonderful name. Basbousa is, like I said, it's a Middle Eastern, North African dish. It's a semolina cake. There's no regular flour in it. And this is what you'll need to make it. So you need a deep dish, like a lasagna dish, which we will pour things into in a minute. Big bowl for everything for mixing. So the first thing you need to do, I'm going to use one of these because I know what I'm doing with it, but I will tell you the actual measurements for it as well. So you need to begin with, so you need, I need more eggs than that. I don't know why I've done that. 3 eggs I'm going to need, actually. 3 medium eggs, 2, and one more, one moment, and a third egg. Is it 4? It's 4. 3 large, 4 medium. 4th egg. Just check what it says here. 4 medium eggs, yeah, I was right. So, a 4th egg. 4 eggs, right? It looks like they magically appeared, then it means I forgot after 2 eggs and just carried on. Tangent. 4 eggs, and into that we're going to add a cup of caster sugar, or granulated sugar is absolutely fine for this. And when I say a cup, that's the equivalent of 200 grams. So what you do, you get the cup, you fill up the cup. It's not quite there. So you fill up the cup, caster sugar, it's about there, and you put that in. So that's a cup of caster sugar. And then what you do, the next stage, is you need one of these whisks, which I'm going to go woo and round. And then you put this on, and you whisk this until it's pale. And this is what my friend Samir made. And you want this really fluffy. Now you can do this by hand with a big whisk, it just take a long time, but you really want this fluffy, you want to get as much air into the eggs as possible, because there's no self-raising flour. We do have a bit of a raising agent in the baking powder, which will help, but the fluffiness just really helps. It's really thick now, quite pale. And it's almost doubled in volume as well. You can see it's a very thick, pale consistency. That's that. Thank you very much. What whisk? And then into this, you're going to measure. Stand by for an incoming message from future me who's completely forgotten something and just remembered. Next stage, you should whisk in the oil. So I'm going to add to the side the cup of oil. And there we go, that's that fat in it. Pop that in there. And now what I'm going to try my best to do is incorporate this as much as possible. And then I'll add the last ingredients when I've finished. So just try to really get that mixed in there as much as possible. And then into this, you're going to measure 500 grams of coarse semolina. Now, I know people think of semolina from their school dinners days, something really horrible like a milk thing with semolina. Some people like semolina, but this is just a completely different take on it. Semolina is basically wheat, it's a durum wheat. but it's cracked and it's just got a lovely grainy kind of texture. So the coarse grain is often the better. You can get a couple of really good brands, Natco's one, there's another one, what's the other brand? I think it's TNS is the other brand, really good and really cheap as well. Also, this is such a good recipe because it's dead quick, really. So we're going to add 500 grams of this semolina. And I might be mixing my thing up. No, I'm right, I'm doing it right, I remember. No, I have, I've messed it up. So, what I should have done is put in a cup of oil almost gradually. So I have to remember I have 211. I'm going to do it backwards. I'm just going to have to hit and hope, right? This is my first major mistake. 400, 500. I should have tried to take as much of it out as possible. Right, don't do this at home. Just try to really get that mixed in there as much as possible. Mixing in the semolina. It should be fine, to be honest. It's not a major problem because it's still light and airy, pretty much. Here we go. So that's semolina, and you can see the oil's amalgamated there. It's fine. Sometimes there are happy mistakes, and you kind of go, "Oh, actually, I didn't need to do that. It turned out the same anyway." This may not be one of those times, but let's hope it is. Another thing we need to add to this is 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You need a bit of a rise. And here we go. When you're using baking powder, make sure they're kind of level teaspoons. Never add too much baking powder to things because it can get quite bitter if you're not careful, and you don't really want lumps of bitter baking powder. That's why a lot of vegan recipes are really difficult, because if you put in too much baking powder, they just taste bitter, and that's why other solutions are needed, like eggs. That's why they help us. That's nice. And now the last thing I'm going to add to that is a cup. Again, 250 mils is a cup, so 250 mils of oil, 250 mils of milk. I'm going to use, again, a quite high fat, I'm going to use oat milk, Oatly. It makes no difference to this recipe as far as I'm concerned. Some people will argue with me, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of comments, but it works perfectly well. So the last thing we add is this milk, and it's quite a runny mix. It'll be quite a runny batter, and I always wonder why I did all that whisking if right at the end I'm kind of deflating the whole thing by putting this milk in. But it may have done something chemical to the eggs. Remember, I'm an amateur. I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun.
Tangent.
And then I'm going to pour this into, pop that there, into this bowl, just here. Can be buttered, but to be honest, it rarely needs it. I'm just going to use the rest of my spatula again. Just get it all out with the spatch. Spatula boy is always in my head every time I mention the spatula.
Spatula boy.
Until I die. That's a bit depressing. Right.
Tangent.
It's another one. Right. That goes into an oven at about 140 degrees centigrade, Celsius, for about 50 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll look into it in a minute. I'm just going to pop it in the oven now. That's at 150 centigrade. Yeah, because it's centigrade Celsius earlier on. But we'll just pop that in the middle of the oven. So quite a low heat, really. And we'll cook that through for between 40 minutes and an hour. So I'm going to check it after 40. Your oven might be very different. It can take a little bit longer. So my oven's quite hot, so I would suggest at least 150, 140 degrees. Turn it down a little bit more. Yeah, it's on about 140 now. So we're going to make a simple syrup now, which is going to go on the Basbousa and just make it really fluffy. This syrup is great. It's really versatile. You can use it on lots of cakes, especially if you've got your cake's a little bit dry. You can use it on ice cream. It's really tasty because you can flavour it with all kinds of things. And here's one I made using a really dark sugar, like a dark brown sugar, so it has a really nutty, quite a deep flavour, so it's good on things like ice cream and stuff like that. So basically equal amounts of volume of sugar and water. So you need 500 mils of water, 400 grams of sugar. Now you can use, I like golden caster if you've got it, but regular caster is fine. In fact, granulated's fine, but the important thing here you need to do is just make sure the sugar melts. So it's really dead easy. So you put in the water in a pan. This is a cup measure. These are really handy. So I'm going to add 2 cups. 1, 2. Put it on quite a low heat to start. And what you want to do here is melt the sugar. So you can stir until it comes up to the boil. What you'll notice is as well, if you're making, if anyone's made tablet or anything like that before, when you have to melt butter and sugar and the sugar feels really grainy to begin with, you really don't want that. If it's grainy, there's going to be a problem with it and you're going to have crystals of sugar in it. So you have to, the important part, there's a lot of liquid in this, so it shouldn't really go wrong. But the important part is that you melt the sugar. So this will take a couple of minutes. You can see there's no sugar in it, it's not cloudy anymore, it's clear. That means that the sugar has melted and it's safe to turn it up a little bit. So you just want to get it up to a boil very briefly and turn it off. That's it, it's as simple as that. So I'm just going to get it up to temperature. Stop stirring it because that actually cools it down, Mark. Can't help touching things, can't help saying things in my head as they come up.
Tangent. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Here we go, it's just starting to bubble. Just see a few little bubbles popping up. If you want a thicker syrup, you can reduce that down to half. And that'll probably take about 10 minutes to kind of until the liquid's half, and then the thicker syrup is probably better for things like ice cream and stuff like that. You can just squeeze it on. I wouldn't expect it to be golden, because I usually use golden caster sugar for this, so that's why it's going to be quite clear. So that's fine. So that's that done. Simple as that. And now what I'm going to add to this, so this is a flavour for the Basbousa in particular, it's an orange blossom. So you can buy this in really good sort of Middle Eastern stores, some Turkish stores. Just trying to think of where I buy it. It's difficult to find in Glasgow actually. I managed to find a place that opened around the corner and it just closed down. There was a Middle Eastern store that was open for 10 minutes and closed down. I bought 3 bottles though. And in London you can get it anywhere. So just, and you can buy it online. So it's quite easy to get, but get this if you can. If you can't get this at all, try using, again, a little almond extract works really well. It tastes a little bit bakewelly when it goes into the cake, but it's really delicious. It's a good way. You can use vanilla, you can use, there's even I wouldn't use now. You can use lemon, you can use anything like that. So, but this is the best stuff. Oh yeah, and if you can't use it, rose is also a good option. So using a bit of rose water, but don't use too much. Taste it. If it's too strong, then you've put too much in. So just put it in gradually. With this, I usually put in about 2 tablespoons. Now, my friend who made this recipe would use about 1/3 of a bottle. It was still quite good, you know. So it depends what your taste is like, but I'll put in about 2 tablespoons of this into the syrup, just as it's starting to cool. You'll see it'll make it a little bit cloudy. And to me, that's enough. That's kind of subtle enough. Orange blossoms are really acquired taste, so smell it from the bottle before you put it in. If you don't like that smell, then don't use it. You can use all kinds of orange flavours as well, if not. So if you don't, you know, you can make it your own. But that is as simple as that. Now that will keep for weeks in the fridge if you want to use it, but I'm going to use all of this on the cake when it comes out the oven. So we're just going to have a quick look at this. You can see like there, it's just a little bit, see here, it's quite firm. Actually, and here it's a little soft, but I think it might be alright. So I'm just going to give it 2 minutes. Remember I did have the issue with the oil, and it still looks okay. And I'm sure it'll taste alright. Turned it up a little bit to about 150, it was on 140. So, and it's been in there for a good hour, so it should really be ready within about an hour. And I reckon you could probably put it on 150 to begin with, and that should stop any problems with that. I am going to take it out the top of it. That little bit in the middle will probably cook off. It's still quite firm underneath, it's not wet. So, and the way to check, if you want to check, if you have a bit of time, get a skewer, put it in. If it's mucky at the end, then it needs longer. If it comes out clean, it doesn't. I'll show you that actually. We'll try that on this. So let me take this out. Basbousa. She's singing Basbousa.
She's away.
Yeah, Basbousa. Yeah. Basbousa. Where's my will to live? Is it in there?
Tangent.
Oh, there it is. I actually haven't got a skewer, but I use this because they're nice and long tongs. I don't really want. This is the part I'm worried about. And as you can see, that's actually just a bit of. That's not wet. That's fine. That's going to be all right. So I'm going to leave that one, and in about 5 minutes, I'm just going to pour on the syrup. Just going to let it cool very quick, just a little bit. I don't want it boiling hot because if I pour the syrup on straight away, it will just evaporate. So you should put the syrup on a warm cake at least. It shouldn't be cold because it will just sit there. It won't soak up. So you pop that there, and I'll do that in a minute. So this is the basbousa. It's still warm. Be very careful. It needs to be warm. It's kind of important. And as you can see, it's firmed up there. It's nice. It's really firm to the touch. It's got a kind of crispy on the outside. It's exactly how it should be. And now, quite literally, I'm going to do this. Syrup is so full. Oh, this is the syrup we made earlier. So I'm just going to pour that over the warm cake. You don't have to put any holes in it. It should just absorb, but just make sure you're putting it on quite evenly. Because the cake's still hot, just wait for it to kind of absorb before you put more on. So just say more on. Just be, wait for it to absorb before you put it on. More on. Put more on. On. I can't. I'm just going to start drinking syrup and going.
Tangent.
Yep.
And again.
This might take a little while because it's actually the cake isn't boiling hot anymore. We'll keep just pouring it on. It's near enough absorbed. You can see it is going in, but because it's spreading away from here now, that's dry now. It's just going to move away. It's kind of good that it's not instant. When it's really instant, it just evaporates a lot of the time. It's like, oh, that went really easily, and then it'll be a dry cake. What you want is the syrup at the bottom to be kind of gooey and soft. Definitely getting there. That one on. Okay. So, and I said, wait for it to absorb. It will be absorbed. So we'll just come back to that in about 5 minutes and you'll see that it's soaked right in. So here's the basbousa with all the syrup soaked in. It's really heavy. And you can have this warm right now. You can just slice that up, or you can have it cold. It's really nice cold. You can keep it in the fridge, lasts for ages. And you just cut it into squares. And you can serve it with a bit of creme fraiche on the side. Oatly do a really good vegan creme fraiche, actually, which we've got outside. God, I'm really advertising Oatly, but they're just a really good brand. You can also have it with yogurt. You can have it with some berries on the side as well. It's just really delicious, really nice with a cup of coffee in the afternoon. I've had it for breakfast. It's really good and really cheap. To make one of these just costs a few pounds, a couple of pounds for a basbousa. Dead easy. Really simple. So that's that one. Basbousa. Oh yes, basbousa. I've had this. She's like dead quiet, and then she's going basbousa. Aye.
Tangent.
I'm going to cut it now, just to show you the kind of grain you get with it. It's really good. I love this stuff. And that's too big, but that's fine. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to try and find a way to get it out. There we go. So this is a really crumbly, gooey. The first piece is always really difficult to get out, and then it kind of calms itself down. Again, this is very sweet, but it's absolutely delicious. It's really good. Get a fork out. So as you can see, it's like a really light and fluffy. I love that. Oh, it's so nice. It's very sweet though, so if you have it with yogurt or creme fraiche or something like that, it's really good. Try, guys.
Like
Probably better just to scoop it.
Oh right, I feel like Lloyd Grossman.
It's nice now. And the orange blossom's just a little. It doesn't really overpower it.
Some good ice cream as well.
Yeah, really good with ice cream. Yogurt, really good with yogurt too and stuff like that. It's just got a lovely, soft, warm.
I've never liked semolina. That's nice.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know. Yeah, that surprised me as well. So, there you go. That's your basbousa. You can serve that, as I said, on its own. Chilled, it's very nice. It's nice cold as well. That's still quite warm. But with like yogurt or something quite sharp, creme fraiche, coconut yogurt someone had before, which was really good with it. Some fresh berries, so you get the tart to go with the sweet. It's really good.
Don't forget to subscribe on the link below, The Distracted Baker, and follow us on Instagram at Distracted Baker for more recipes.